And I find myself extremely honored to be sitting next to the great Nick Varner. Nick, why don't you describe the impending contest to our viewers?
Well, I heard Johnny and Buddy talking before the match, and Buddy was putting a little good-natured humor into the match. He says, "You know, Johnny, this is for Player of the Year, this match right here."
Well, it could be. It's neck and neck, is it not?
Yeah, it's pretty close, pretty close. And Buddy, I'd say the only negative in this match for him is I started off and played him at 11 a.m. this morning. And just between me and you, Grady, I'm glad Johnny gets to play in this match after the way he played against me at 11. He just played flawless.
Well, it's kind of rare to not see you still alive in a major event, Nick, but to give Buddy his just due, I think he's played a little tougher competition. He had you and Mike Siegel, and he's played every great player in the world. Let's see who he's played here.
Well, he fell into that loser's bracket. I believe he might have lost his second round match in this tournament, so he's had to play a lot more matches than Johnny.
Well, how many has he played today?
I think this is number 6, I believe.
9 matches today?
No, not today.
Well, my
in the loser's bracket maybe, but not 9 today. There's not that many sessions.
No, there's not that many. He's played 5 or 6 times today, which is a lot of 9 ball.
I think this is his 6th match because I started with him this morning at 11 a.m. and.
Well, what do you think he's going to do to get on a 3-ball here, Nick? It's a touchy lie of balls.
I think he may be playing a safety shot on the 9 here and ducking on top of the 2. Because the 2 was so far from that 3 and 4 there that it was hard to get at.
Well, you know, Johnny's got an angle here. Well, he could pretty much just stop the cue ball, and he might be able to play the 2 in the side pocket and go down into the 3 and 4. I think he can go straight into them.
If the 5's not in the way, he might, that side pocket shot looks real good.
Sure.
I don't know if the 5 allows him to maybe split that 3 and 4 or not by drawing back off the 1, but.
I think it does with a high ball.
But this is a tough layout right here to get started with.
It sure is.
The 3 and 4 ball are the 2 balls on the upper left part of the screen, with the 3 ball the closest to the corner pocket.
Well, he should be delighted just to have a nice shot on the 1 ball after giving up a ball in hand. This, of course, a race to 13 with the Texas Express rules.
I believe he's going to try the shot you was talking about. No, he's going to duck and try to squeeze him underneath the 4, I guess, Grady.
Well, he does have the 5, 8, 9 to park the 3 ball behind. Well, I don't think he's going to get it there. But I don't believe Buddy can get all the way back up the table, do you?
No, that would be quite a stroke there. He might soft roll it and then go for the 4 if he doesn't play. No, he's jacking up. I thought he might just roll it, and then that's not a real, I mean, it's a tough shot, but it's not, well, no, he's trying to come straight back. This will be a crowd pleaser here, Grady.
This is as tough a shot as there is in all of pool.
Tell you what, he hit it awful good to get it that close, Grady.
Sure. Of course, he missed it on the thick side, too, which allowed the cue ball to go back a little easier. I don't know that Johnny's got much here. If the 3 doesn't go in the corner, I think it's
awful thin in the side, and
right.
He's running maybe into the 8. And if he hits it thick, it's hard for him to get back up table.
Well, it must go in the corner. He's elevating and try to draw back here. I would guess he's going to try to go on the bottom side of the 9.
Buddy's got ball in hand, so Buddy's got the first real good opportunity to win this first game.
You know, here I kind of like to stay just right on the end rail, below the 4 ball, where you can just kind of punch it up.
Slide straight up. Yeah, I like that too on this. I like using no rails here. And it looks like Buddy likes the same shot.
Yeah, no reason to really go to a rail there. You just punch this up with a, maybe it's just below center ball with a right English.
And that's just perfect speed.
Sure. Now he'll just stop the ball here, and he'll have a nice angle on the 6. Now, I kind of like playing the 8 in the side pocket. A lot of guys don't.
Right where he's standing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of prefer that. You don't have to make the cue ball go so far. That's what I like about it. And I also like the way he played position there, where he went ahead and caught the second rail so that he's coming off the rail toward the 8. That way you don't end up froze on the rail very often.
That's a great point, Nick, for you aspiring players. One rail there really isn't any good.
Well, if your speed's a little off, you end up with a tougher cut on the 8, and then if you happen to fall on the rail, no matter if you fall perfect, it's missable.
Well, Buddy Hall should consider himself a little fortunate to get 2 ball in hands against young, talented Johnny Archer. That's not going to occur very often.
No. It's probably about the second one he's give up this year. The way he's been playing.
Sure. Well, he's sure a fine player, no doubt about that. Well, you know, he paid his dues. I remember watching him lose a match against you in Memphis, I think it was, a couple of years ago, 2 or 3 years ago. And he had you 9-1 going to 11. It wasn't 13 then. And you came back and beat him that match. And he, you know, I think that really sat with him, that loss, and he really buckled down. He's been playing great ever since that.
Well, to me, Johnny had so many high finishes in these tournaments for a long time. I was really surprised, to tell you the truth, between me and you, that he didn't win his first major tournament 2 years before he did.
Yeah, me too.
I think he had the skill to long before he won his first one.
Sure. Well,
but you're looking at a young guy, 23 years old, that's already a veteran on the tour.
Sure. Oh, he's going to be around for years to come. Well, he's got a nice angle here. He wants to just kind of bounce this out one rail. You don't really even have to draw this. Just a little bit of just below center left English.
Probably coming back toward his, yeah, I was going to say come back toward his bridge. He went a little further, and that's perfect, because now he just has to, he wants to be sure to draw back far enough for the 5 here so he doesn't have to run into the 6. He'd like to get it back to almost where he's at.
I think he's perfect here.
He just doesn't want to have to bump the 6 unless absolutely necessary.
Well, Buddy hates to run in the balls, and I think that's absolutely the right kind of thinking. It's sure easy to get in trouble when you go into balls.
Especially if it's one you're not trying to hit.
Right. Well, how should you know? You never do that.
Oh, yeah. I wish.
Now, that's the kind of player Buddy Hall is, Nick. He's a little unhappy because he's a little straight-inish on this ball, even though it still should be a pretty easy out.
Well, the reason for his discomfort is he's hugging this rail over here a little bit when he goes forward. He'd like to be off this rail 3 or 4 more inches, Grady.
Well, that's why he's a great champion. I can't fault that kind of thinking. Now, he'll go over on the left side of the 9 as we view the monitor, because that's natural, just pretty much a high ball here.
He wants it to stop, but
oh, he's fine.
He went about a foot further than he wanted, but he's still in good position.
Oh, Buddy, he just kind of lumbers around the table, but he's always getting the job done.
Yeah, the balls just keep disappearing.
Okay.
From view.
All right, it's 2-0. Well, I'm kind of delighted that things are picking up in the pool world. Looks like there's going to be a lot of tournaments next year. I think the money's going to get better. I think good things are going to happen.
Yeah, things look the best I've ever seen them look. It looks like finally we've got a good solid foundation to build on, Grady.
Yeah, I believe that too. Capacity audience here, or near capacity, despite the fact that the weather's been horrible. There was one point where all 4 routes into Reno were, except the one coming from the east, where, you know, you had to have chains on your car, and it took a long time to get here.
Yeah, I think all the places at ski resorts ought to be real happy out here, Grady.
Sure. Now here's an interesting situation. Nick, what do you like here? You got to push here. I can't see shooting at this. And where do you push to?
Well, I think you got to push up along this rail someplace. Do you push for the spin in, or do you push for the kick? Or do you see something better?
Well, how about both? You might even be able to push for both. Make it
Debatable?
debatable. Well, on this easy equipment, I think Johnny's got to take this.
Yeah, it's hard. You know, the equipment is rather generous, as you said. He turned it down. He turned it down. A little bit surprising. Must be laying awful tough. But
He looks like he's using
maybe he's
left-handed.
playing safe here. You know what he might do here, Grady? He might try to spin around and block with that 7, maybe.
Sure, or hit it thick enough where it comes off the point there.
Yeah, just knocked it right back up toward the 7.
Well, I saw that shot. I don't like that. I don't like to leave my opponent close to the ball.
Now, what do you think he was trying to do there? He was shaking his head when he come back. I know he's not happy about leaving Johnny this good a bank on the 1. He evidently must thought the cue ball was going to die a little closer to the end rail, huh?
That could be. I don't know. It didn't look to me like he could snooker Johnny playing that shot.
Well, Johnny's off to a little bit of a slow start in this match. For him, that was a pretty easy bank.
Well, of course, you and
I
are one-pocket players, and you know that kind of bank. It's hard to overcut it. I play that bank. I play it a good inch below where I would if it was just a straight across bank or something.
Well, what makes you mad? I know Johnny's mad about that shot because if you miss it, you want to miss it on the long side. You know what I mean? Because
Sure.
it slides in so much off the end rail.
Sure.
Looks like the biggest problem here, Grady, is maybe falling on this 5 ball. Looks like he needs to get fairly close to this 4 so he can get a good angle on the 5. See him bring that ball all the way back and where he can play more precise on this 5 ball. It makes it a little easier for him than if he stopped like at the side or.
Well, this still isn't so easy, Nick. I don't think he's natural to go 2 rails and hit just before the side.
Where do you think he's going? Do you think he's going to go 2 rails, bounce off the side, and float up between the 8 and 9?
Well, if the 5 passes the 9, I like going on the other side of the 5 here. But I don't know.
It passes a 9. I can tell from my angle the 5 passes a 9. But it looks like to me what he's going to do is float up 2 rails.
Well, I didn't think he could quite get there.
I tell you, he's coming in a little short.
I sure didn't like that angle.
I think he fell behind the 8
reason
there.
I like going on the short side of the 5 is I know I can hit it.
Yeah, and you're in a position, even if you get out of line, to play some kind of defensive shot. Ooh, he hit it perfect, except maybe a little harder than he wanted.
Yep.
But this is a pretty tough little shot here.
It's a tough shot. He's got to hit this with, what do you like? I like a little low left and try to punch it out 2 rails. The only reason I use a little bit of left is maybe to help make the ball and be...
As you say, Grady, maybe 1 notch under warp speed here with low left.
Right. Well, don't you find this kind of shot hard to make if you don't use a touch outside?
Yeah, I prefer to play it the way you said. It's not an easy shot.
No, it's a real tough shot.
No matter what you hit it with.
Of course, that's one of your better shots. I've seen you make that for years.
Yeah, that one won me a few tournaments there.
Sure. I hear a groan from the crowd. Something happened down the way. Steve Mizrak is playing Earl Strickland, and that should be a great match, too.
Well, right now, the score is 4-1 in favor of Earl. That's the finals of the winners bracket here at the Sands.
I'm surprised they wouldn't play that on tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah, I was a little surprised. I expected to see Buddy and Johnny play tonight, but I was a little surprised to see Earl and Steve playing tonight.
All right, it's 3-0, Buddy Hall. So what's in store for you, Nick? Where are you going next?
Well, I guess my next event will be playing the first tournament. Well, in fact, in your hometown, Columbia.
Yeah. Oh, they have a nice 9-ball tournament down there every year. Well, I think there's more tournaments scheduled for next year too, which would be a good thing.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to have a full calendar next year. I think we're going to have around 20 events.
Well, that's great. It'd be nice if they'd kind of get geographically with it, though, where, for an example, if you want to come play in a tournament in Reno, the next tournament's in L.A.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of crisscrossing. A lot of the guys find that too expensive. Buddy Hall currently shooting 923 on the ACCUSTATS scale, 1,000 being perfect pool, and I think the 9 is pretty makeable here, Nick.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to get a short rack here. Tell you what, Buddy's got off to a good start in this match. He's leading 4-0. I thought maybe he might be a little tired, this being, I think, his 6th match of the day, but
well, I thought
if he is, he's certainly not showing it.
Well, you know, if we reflect on the 4 games just passed by, I don't think he's made any bad shots. I mean, that's as good as you can play pool.
No, the only thing I've seen is on that position shot we was talking about.
Oh, I forgot that,
he snookered himself behind the 8. That's the only mistake I've seen him make. He's playing just flawless pool.
Well, he's going to have to push here, and I like pushing out for the kick here. What do you think? It's about the same shot he did on the 1, only it's a little farther off the rail. But anyway, if Johnny tells him to take it again, he might stick him behind the 4.
Or he may go over around this rail on the right and leave him where he can hit half the ball or 3/4 probably. He moved to 5.
Well, here's a shot, Nick. Now, I've lost some games to Buddy Hall from this position. I know what he's going to do. If he gets it, he'll bank it down here in the lower left-hand corner.
Yeah, well, I don't think he'll get to shoot it. Not that it's an easy shot, because it isn't, but Johnny is playing stone defense there, and I think I don't think Buddy's going to be happy with what happened there.
Well, I think he intended to do what you suggested, where he can only hit half of it, then he can't stick him behind the 4. I didn't realize that he could see a full ball there. He's got to take the safety if he can see a whole ball, because you can do it 100% of the time, pretty much.
Now, what do you do here?
Well, there's a shot here I like, Nick. You go rail first and come across the top of the ball and try to slide over underneath the 7. Maybe the cue ball goes up on the other side of the 6-9.
I like that. I like that. And he made the 2, Grady. He made the 2. What a great shot.
Well, you come out 2 rails there.
Looks like what keys here is going from that 5 to the 6, Grady. He needs a good angle there. He
doesn't want to be straight in, that's for sure. I think if he gets on either side of the 5 of straight in, he's going to be all right. That's perfect.
That was a nice shot. Look at that speed.
Well, he's been doing it for so many years, you get used to it after a while. This is a little low right English. He wants to stay above the 6, right?
So he don't have to hit the 9. You're exactly right.
Perfect. Now, he can pretty much just stop here. He'd like to have a little angle on the 7 anyway.
Now on this 8, what he wants to do is get up above the 2 side pockets when he comes around 2 rails, so he can come back down toward the 9, so he don't have to go 3 rails. I see a lot of players when they first start playing in these tournaments, Grady, that end up stopping on this side of the 9, and then they have to go for that 3 rail or that double reverse. But I prefer the way Buddy did it there.
Oh, sure. Well, I tell you, when you watch Nick Varner or Buddy Hall, you're not likely to see him get on the wrong side of many balls. I tell people when I go out and do exhibitions and clinics all the time that they could do no better from a learning perspective than to get some of these tapes, and that you get not only what the guys on the table are doing, but you get the opinion of guys that really know what they're doing.
Well, I honestly believe if they'd had these tapes when I was a kid, I think that people are so lucky today, because I bet this would have knocked 5 years. I bet I could have improved and knocked off 5 years off the learning process of this game if I'd had access to tapes like these. I mean, You can just learn so much so quick that just took you years to learn by the old trial and error method.
That's correct, sure. I tell him the same thing, exactly. Now, he's got a problem with the 2-ball, Nick. That's resting in the far left-hand quadrant of the table.
Well,
passes the 8, but I don't know that he's got a whole pocket.
He's got about 3/4 of a hole, so I look for him to draw back and try to fall as close to straight in on the 2 as he can.
But look at the 3-5. They're up by the far right-hand corner, and if the 3 doesn't pass the 5, he needs to really get a nice angle on this 2 and be pretty close to it.
Yeah, he'll have to have some angle, but boy, with that 3/4 pocket, I don't think he wants too much. No, he's got something entirely different in mind. I tell you what, it wouldn't. The worst part about that, I think, Grady, is he got over the 5. Looks like he could play the 2-8, but now it's going to be a little tough to do much with the white.
Well, you know what I like here? If he has the angle, I think he does. The cue ball may even kiss the 2-ball after he goes into the 8 with it. No, he had a better angle than we thought.
Yeah, I thought that he had to stay underneath the 2 there.
Well, I know how Buddy thinks, and he
but
didn't like.
Is that 3, Grady? Can he get away from the 5-ball to go to the 4?
Well, he needs a good angle. He wants to stay beyond straight in on it.
Oh, I see.
He's all right
He
here.
may have to. Can he bounce up? He's got a draw up, don't he?
He may have to here.
And I know he's not happy about that, but that 5, that's.
Well, he couldn't go the other way because he's got to hit the 5. Here's the ACCUSTATS as we speak. Johnny Archer shooting a paltry 500. That's rare. And Buddy Hall currently at a 947. Well, you know, he missed that ball because he tried to bounce it up. He tried to cheat the pocket.
Yeah.
Now, he's a little fortunate because he left Johnny safe.
Yeah, he played real fortunate. But a lot of people, they see a pro miss a ball like that, they say, boy, I can't believe he missed that ball. I can make that ball. If that was the 9 ball, he wouldn't have missed it. But the problem was he did exactly what you said. He tried to cheat the hole, and he cheated it just a hair too much because otherwise it was so difficult getting position on the 4. And what made it difficult was the 5 ball obstructed part of that 3 ball.
Sure. Well, he went a little farther than he wanted to. He wanted to get an angle where he could just come up one rail. Now he'll go.
Now he's. You'll see what he was trying to do before.
Yeah.
Only he's got a much better angle.
Now watch 2 rails, right? Not one where you don't lay on the rail. That's the way to play that. Now he still requires, unless the 6-9 is dead, Nick, and I don't think they are. He needs a good angle on this 5 to get on the 6.
2 rails, 2 rails. You'll notice that from watching these tapes that it's a tool that the pros use an awful lot, is that 2-rail position. They're always floating off that 2nd rail.
I teach that a lot.
Toward the object ball.
It's a style of position play that I think is very difficult to defeat. This is natural. He'll want to hit about where that chalk is on the far left-hand side rail. Just like that.
Tell you what, he might have to be a little careful here where the 9 goes. I think he can draw back and just push it down, can he?
Well,
he doesn't act like there's a problem there anyway.
No.
Yeah.
Nice
just
shot.
draw back and push it down. Well, if you're teaching them 2-rail position, you're certainly giving them a valuable tip. It'll increase their runouts, I'll tell you that.
Sure. And it's 6-0, Buddy Hall over Johnny Archer. Well, I learn a lot from these tapes, and I learn a lot from watching the greatest players in the world. When I sit and watch a match, I don't just sit and watch it. I play the game in my mind. And to be honest with you, I think it's one of the most thrilling things in the world when you watch 2 great players play, and one of the guys does something a certain way, and you can say to yourself, you know what, the way I do that is better. It takes a while to get that, but it's a thrilling feeling. All right, the 8.
Here comes the 8. And he had a perfect shot. I don't know if he still does or not. I couldn't tell by his facial reaction.
I don't think he's got a shot here. Can't tell for sure. Well, he may be able to turn it in with right English. Oh, yeah. Nice shot. Here he can go 1 or 2 rails.
He looks like he may just go with high and come up 1 rail here, because it's laying at such a natural angle. See how far off the rail he is?
Sure.
There was no danger of getting stuck on the rail there.
And he's got a perfect angle on the 5.
Now where is he? How's he going from the 7 to the 8, Grady?
Well, this is touchy. I like to get just beyond straight in on it and just move it up the table with kind of a center ball hitting a lot of right English. Now he's gotten a perfect angle.
You know, a lot of people, they'll take balls like this for granted, but I tell you what, I could have won a lot more matches if I could just do this every time.
Well, sure. Well, he floated it long with the spin. Don't you think that's the best way to play that?
Yeah.
You try to go 2 rails or 3 rails or do something funny there, you can get in trouble.
Will he go 3 rails here or float it in 1?
Well, it doesn't really matter.
He wanted to hit it just a little firmer. I kind of like that too. That way, you know, you don't give the table a chance to get you either. You know what I mean? When you hit it with that firmer stroke.
I've seen a lot of balls like that missed where guys would try to roll them in the pockets, you know.
And sometimes I think it's not always their fault.
No, it's not. All right, it's 7-0. Well, the problem is that you really only got about 1 out of every 20 pool balls which they have any use or any age on them at all that's in perfect round. Plus, you've got 5,000 square inches of playing surface, and you're going to have little imperfections in the cloth, sometimes in the slate, and you're going to get a little roll-off. And the way he played that, going 3 rails, made it 100% make on the 8 ball and 100% position play on the 9, and that's how you win matches and tournaments. One of the things I get asked a lot, Nick, somebody will say to me, I'm a good player, but I dog it when I get under pressure. And what I tell them is, I say, watch some of the great players, guys like Nick and Mike and Buddy, and watch how they dog-proof certain kind of layouts. If you shoot in such a way that you're going to make the shots you're shooting close to 100% of the time, and you shoot it in a way where you can't miss position, well, there's no way to dog it.
Oh, Grady, when's your next time that you're going to put your stroke in action?
Well, I don't know, Nick. I'm trying to get some money in the sport. I'm doing an event in January, and I'm adding $61,000 to it, and I plan to eventually have $1 million tournaments. I've been kind of concentrating on promotional things. And if you'll allow me to digress briefly, I'll be 50 next month. I have no retirement fund, no college plan for my kids. I mean, I make a decent living, but I'm worried about what's going to happen 10 years from now. And I just got tired of not having decent money in the sport. When I watch 17-year-old girls play 1 tennis match for $350,000, I just feel like it's time to get out and do something. That was a great shot.
It was a great kick, and it certainly turned out pretty nice. Buddy's leading 7-0, and Johnny's having trouble getting the first ball in the hole because he has not been looking at anything but tough situations.
Well, he hit that pretty good. He
hit it
rattled
real
the pocket.
good. He just he's having trouble getting started. Every time he comes to the table, he's looking at
Well, what do you
awful
do
difficult positions here.
What do you do with this shot? It's a tough shot. I see 3 or 4 choices. The combination is out. That's no good. Plus the scratch is on. He could thin the 1 over towards the 3-7 and go back down the table. He could hit the 1 a little thicker and try to lay the cue ball behind the 5-9. He could play the billiard. What do you think?
I think he's going to cut it in try to cut it in the left lower corner pocket and hope he gets a shot on the 2. It's not very far from the pocket.
Well, that's what he did.
He got lucky and made one of those 2 balls over by the corner pocket, which was, close as they were, it wasn't such a long shot.
No, sure wasn't.
But he's probably fortunate that he's still facing a tough shot on the 1. But it's a lot better shot than the 2-ball was.
Well, in retrospect, the way he shot it, sending the cue ball into the 3-ball, he had a chance to make a combination, the 3 into the 7, or a billiard, the cue ball into the 3, then the 7.
Right.
A lot of good things could have happened there.
Yeah, you're right. Or if he missed everything, he could have snookered him.
Sure.
You know, that was, boy, he made a nice shot there. That was,
sure did.
That was a hard shot.
Now the 4 to the 5 here, I like going with inside English. I'll come up and get maybe a little farther up the table than he is right now, and then use. Oh, he's going to get. Well, this
I
is
like that because now he on. Where was you going to go 3 rails around?
That's what I would have done with that shot.
Okay, because he's going to go opposite-handed and draw it straight back.
Of course, he plays so well.
I like your shot too. I like your shot. I've used that so many times. When a ball's in that position, it's in an awkward position when you got to come all the way down table, and especially in this case because the 5 only has one pocket that it goes into.
Well, either way, it was all right. I just wouldn't want to draw that ball with an angle because then it's missable.
I know you wouldn't mind if it's on the other side of the table.
No, well, no, but I don't want to hit it in and have to use low outside English because you can sure miss it like that.
Yeah.
The way he played it was fine.
Oh, yeah.
And that's such a big advantage to be able to play well opposite-handed too. Now he can go, he may go 2 rails underneath the 9 here. I can't, or he can come out 1, but I kind of like the 2 rails because it's just natural as rain.
Yeah, he went maybe a little further than he wanted, but now I look for him to just swing around the 9 2 rails. And
well, this is natural too.
Yeah.
This isn't really a hard shot.
No, just make the 8 positions automatic because he fell in the ideal angle. Just swing right around the 9. There was really no danger of running into the 9. That's the last thing he wanted to happen.
Well, he's playing near perfect 9-ball, Nick, and he currently leads Johnny Archer 8 games to nothing.
Well, this is anytime you got the best, right now, they're currently the best 2 players in the world in 9-ball, and when you get the best 2 together, usually it is a shootout. And
well, you know, a point I brought up earlier, Johnny lost a heartbreaker to Earl Strickland 13-12, and he led 12-8 in that match. Now, Buddy's been winning all day long. I think that those 2 things really come into play.
Well, you might be right, but I think the main thing is Johnny just has failed to get started so far.
Well, we've talked about it how many times in the past? You remember
that first game is the hardest one.
Well, he gave Buddy Hall two ball in hands the first game, and the first game sets the tone for things. Yeah. If Johnny had won the first game, the score might be 7-2 Archer, or 4 apiece, or something like that, instead of 8-0.
Or the same as it is now, 8-0. It could be in reverse.
Sure.
That first game, I do believe them when they say the first one and the last ones when they say those are the 2 hardest ones to win. They're certainly right.
Sure.
Now Johnny didn't have a shot again after Buddy's break. He failed to make a ball, but Buddy left him with really no shot. But Johnny's come up with an exceptionally good safety there.
Now I like going 2 rails into this because if you hit on the right-hand part of the 1 may come down here. You got the 2, 5, 6, 8 that the cue ball could end up behind. And all you got to do, he's going to go 1 rail.
I kind of like your way better. Let's see what happens with this. I like the 2 rails too here. Well, Buddy just keeps kicking them in, Grady. I mean,
well, there's not much left to say, is there?
I mean, case closed. I mean,
we've just been informed by a very capable statistician that Johnny has pocketed 2 balls thus far in this match.
Well, you know, that statistic certainly, well, there's a rarity, but look where this 2's going.
Well, even if he can't make it, which I think he can make it,
yeah,
he just
I believe this is his first real good opportunity almost in the match. He hasn't been looking at nothing but tough situations. Yeah, now this is not easy right here, Grady.
You got to be careful you don't go around the 7 snooker.
Where do you go here? I'd like to go on the left side of the floor myself,
right.
But he's kind of going closer to that corner pocket than he liked, and I think he may have to soft roll this 4 here.
Well, he's got a natural angle. All he's got to do is not go on the side.
He's going with the low, so he did soft roll it.
That was a nice shot. It must have been an angle where it looked like it might go in the side pocket.
I tell you what, watching this match reminds me of one that I just soon forget that happened here the last tournament at the Sands. I played this Johnny in the finals of the winners bracket, and when they said that Johnny made 2 balls the first 8 games, I think that's about how many I made against Johnny the whole match.
Well, that's going to happen. I also explain to people that everybody is going to have days where their game is subpar.
Well, in this game, if your opponent's break just heats up on you, it's nice to be on the opposite side when your break's the one that heats up, but it's not much fun when your opponent's break heats up.
That's true. Well, people remember with great clarity a match in which you defeated Mike Siegel, and he was leading you 9-2, and the equipment was real conducive for making the corner ball on the break, and Mike felt like he lost the match when you got to come to the table, and I thought it was a little too much negativism on his part, but you sure did win that match.
Yeah.
We counted them.
I'll never forget that one either.
We counted them. I think it was 29 times in a row the corner ball went in the same pocket, and what you and Mike did, of course, you're both great champions, you began to play position on the 1 ball with great accuracy.
Okay, now the score's 8-1, and boy, what a rarity, huh? Johnny Archer not making a ball in the break. I'm not
Well, it looked
used
to me
seeing
like
this.
he kind of lunged at that break, and his follow-through, his stick came right up in the air. Plus, I think he took about 30% power off of it.
Now, Buddy's kicking at this ball, or pushing out.
No, he's kicking at it.
That's something I was really amazed when I played Buddy this morning, is how well he kicked, and we've seen some fabulous kick shots by Buddy in this match. He's kicked 2 balls in. We was thinking about trying to kick and play safe on him.
Sure.
But from my experience, Buddy just seems to be in that mode where whatever needs to happen, he just makes it happen. I mean,
well, when everything is going well for you, good things seem to happen. Johnny made a couple of unforced errors early in the match, and he certainly paid dearly for that.
Okay, now
He's got to kind of just lag this in. Nice shot. And again, one of Buddy Hall's maxims should be in evidence here shortly. He believes that when you have position, don't play it. He won't try to do anything with this. If he's anywhere close to straight in. Sure. Now, do you move the 7 here? If he doesn't move the 7, I don't see how he can get on the 5. How can he get on the 5?
3, 4, and 5 are laying tricky here.
In other words, if he just
5
rolls...
balls.
Go ahead, Nick. Sorry.
5 ball is on the right rail over here, close to the side pocket, right on the rail, and the 7 is close to the 3 ball that he's playing here. Look like he's coming straight across for the 4. Boy, you got to... Do you...
He's got to load this up with a ton of inside English and try to come between the 5-7. I mean, I don't see
him. Can he get it over that far with reverse? It doesn't even look like to me that he can get that much on it. But
well, maybe he can get it short enough to come in between the side pocket and the 7.
I think he's going to go long. No,
yeah,
he's coming short. I thought he might try to go by the 7, but one thing, he felt pretty good. I know he felt pretty good on this bank cross side, I think.
I was just going to say we're going to get a patented Buddy Hall bank right now. There's not the slightest chance he's not going to bank it this ball. Well, running out and getting on the board moved Johnny Archer up, I think, from 512 to 588. Buddy Hall presently at a torrid 941 pace.
Okay, Buddy's going with this 5 ball cross side here. Oh, he double kissed it, I believe, Grady.
He sure did.
Double kissed it.
Now here's one you got to hit close to warp speed right here, Grady.
Because he's straight in on it, and when you're straight in, unless you do something exotic, the cue ball can only go straight ahead and straight back. Now he's not quite straight in. The cue ball will go the natural angle, but because it's so straight in, the cue ball won't move quickly, so you have to hit it hard. Nice shot.
And see, he actually noticed where the 5 went in the hole there. He cut it toward not the real outside part of the pocket, but definitely, from our view, left to center.
Sure.
And that gave him the speed, and he got so good on the 6. That was a nice stroke. You know what? He's struggling a little because he fell bad on this 8. He did the unbelievable. I know he's thinking, how did I go too far on that ball?
Well, this is a matter of choice. You can draw it or follow it. But I kind of like to follow with the right English.
This particular one I do too, because you don't have to mess with that side or corner pocket here or run into the 9. When you go forward here, all you got to do is make the 8. It's a natural. Got to hit it pretty firm, but
Nicely done. And you certainly can't count Johnny out of this match.
no, after you've been out here on the circuit for a while, you do learn that 8-0 does not mean it's over.
No. 8 to
And
2.
now it's 8-2.
Well, you're probably possessed of one of the best attitudes I've ever witnessed out on the tour. A match is never over against Nick Varner or Buddy Hall until the last ball is pocketed. There's Willie Munson. What a great guy he is. He's been a boon to our sport for many years. I don't think Willie's got an enemy in the world.
No, he's a pretty likable guy.
He sure is.
And
Milwaukee,
friendly.
Wisconsin.
Okay, now, Johnny came up empty last time on the break, which is unusual. Let's see how this break goes, Grady.
Well, he put the power back into it.
But he lost the cue ball just a hair. He went a little forward, and now what do you do here, Grady?
Well, I'm not going to shoot this because it's an extra hard shot that you don't have to even get position on. Now, I don't mind shooting a hard shot if I say to myself I can win if I make it.
I think what he's going to do is cross it and come down around this 2 ball and try to snooker him by making the 1 go too. Well, I didn't know he could even make that 1. He was trying to make it, I guess.
Oh, I don't think he hit it like he wanted. He looked at his cue like he miscued.
Yeah,
But he
right.
snookered Buddy, I think. But if Buddy can see a piece of that 1, he can play a safety on Johnny and maybe bring the cue ball down behind his 3-5-8.
I don't know what he's doing here. Is he banking it?
Yeah.
That's one thing you don't want Buddy shooting.
No. Well, I bet I've seen him make 1,000 bank shots in major tournament competition. And I'm talking only about whole table length ones.
Yeah, and an awful lot of them when he had to make them too.
Sure. Well, he's in pretty good shape here. Doesn't have to even do anything with this. I think he's even got an angle to kind of push the cue ball out to the left slightly.
Main thing he's got to be a little careful on this 5, Grady, is he don't want too much angle. He'd like to be right where he's at right now.
Sure.
But he will be sure he clears the 8. In and out. Yeah, I like that. I like that because that way you never get snookered.
Well, he's got a perfect angle because you can hit this with anything you want. Just
Center
go
ball,
one
just-
rail and come out a few
Yeah.
inches.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head there.
And this is near perfect too. Now, if it's easy equipment, well, it doesn't make a difference. You can go one rail here and just be perfect on the 8.
Yeah, you called it. You called it on the button head. Looks like to me just falling perfect to draw it right back to the below the side to the right of the 9.
Well, he'll be sure it doesn't go close to the side pocket that he's shooting by. Must have been pretty straight in.
Because
Now-
he wasn't taking no chance.
Well, that's
on
one thing
scratching.
I like about Buddy's game. Man, he hates to come close to a pocket. And he'll take a little bit harder shot to make sure that he doesn't come close to scratching. All
Well,
right.
that's pretty good advice because you can't win from the bottom of that hole with the white one.
No, you sure can't. 9 games to 2. There's Kim Davenport and his lovely wife passing immediately beneath us. Scott Smith, tournament director. Also kind of unusual, though we've only gotten to see Johnny break twice. Buddy's kind of outbroke Johnny in this contest.
Yeah, in this match.
Boy, when you're going good, the 3-ball kissed that 2 from the middle of the id rail over in front of the pocket.
Tell you what, Johnny's not having much fun here.
No, it's tough when you're playing a great player and he's just running out every time he can see a ball and you're way behind. Do you ever go to the bathroom, Nick Varner, and say to yourself, man, this is my chance to change destiny or do something historic? If I could win a match like this, what a great thing it would be.
Well, sometime what I try to do is try to forget about the darn score and just every time I come to the table just try to make as many balls as I can, because that's really the only thing I got any control over. I mean, sitting in Johnny's chair right now, this is not much fun, but there's just nothing you can do about it in this game. You just got to sit there and watch.
So you come to the table and try to forget the score and just play good pool?
Well, I mean, if I come to the table, my next shot, I just try to make as many balls as I can and try not to worry so much about the winning and losing. Just play until I can't shoot no more.
Oh, that's good thinking, and certainly well-heeded advice by anyone.
Because you taking this match here, there's not a thing in the world Johnny can do until he gets a shot to get back to the table. And he can give up if he wants, but
I don't think he'll do that.
No, I didn't mean that Johnny would do that. I mean, he's not going to do that. None of these great players do that. That's why they still can win from these scores like this.
Boy, and they do win sometimes from far back.
I tell you what, I've seen some amazing things happen on this circuit. Some absolute matches that just hard to believe things can happen. I remember one you played, I'll never forget as long as I live, at Earl Strickland, and you were playing last year in the U.S. Open, and that Earl started out just making every ball in sight, just breaking, making 2 or 3 balls. He had you 6 or 7 to nothing, just looked like he's going to make short work of you, and I don't believe he won another game.
No, I won 11 in a row.
11 in a row. Now, how about that match?
Well, I got a little lucky a couple of times. The best comeback I ever saw, Ray Martin raced to 11 against Steve Mizrak, came from 10 to 2 behind, won that match. Well, you made a lot of great comebacks.
But he's leading 10 to 2, and he's
Well, it's time for me to do my late match odds analysis. Yeah. I make it about 1 billion to 1 against Johnny winning this match. Not that that's what the numbers indicate, but because that's what the tempo and just the particular way this match is going would indicate. I mean, when you're sitting there in that chair and you're way, way down like this, and the other guy's playing near perfect, man, it takes almost a miracle
That's
to turn it
why
around.
you need to forget the score, because when you're sitting in that chair and the score is 10 to 2 and Buddy's playing the way he is, breaking the way he is, that's about what the odds would seem to you if you were playing right now, Grady.
Buddy's currently at a 9:45 pace in the Accu-Stats statistics. Well, I've always thought that these races out here on the tour are too short anyway. I mean, look what they do in tennis and golf and different sports. I wouldn't mind seeing a 3 out of 5 race to 8 format or something, where if you do happen to play a bad match or even 2, a bad set or even 2, you might still win it.
Well, I wouldn't mind that either, but if I could change one thing about tournaments, I would make them play on pro-sized pockets. I would cut them down about 1 inch.
Well, I'm fascinated to hear you say that, Nick, because I'm a big advocate of that, too. Meanwhile, did you see that shot Buddy just made there? He's elevated over a ball. He drew it back with low outside English. It's enough to make mere mortals like me flinch.
Well, buddy, this has been a clinic so far on his part in this match. He's been putting on a clinic, a 9-ball clinic on how to get out.
Well, he's been doing that quite a bit this year.
He sure has. For the last couple of years, he's been playing. Well, I guess the only guy that's ahead of him in the rankings is Johnny, so that pretty well sums it up right there.
Well, I think he tried to hit a different part of the pocket than the middle of the pocket in order to get up the table for the 3.
Yeah, you're right.
He looked at that shot in a peculiar
Johnny
fashion.
recognizes this shot, don't he? It's been what he's been. Every time he shot this match, it seems like he's been almost rail to rail.
Now, I argue with Cardone all the time about spots like this. I say that when you're behind, you try to get you a ball in hand, which is a heck of a good confidence builder.
Right.
When you're way behind, if you shoot at something that's real hard, you're going to miss it most of the time. Now, buddy.
Well, I don't know. I mean, a lot of great comebacks come behind some fabulous shot, whether you play an extremely tough safety or you make a hard shot. I don't mind shooting a hard shot, but one thing I really like to feel is that I will win the game if I make it. I hate anything that aggravates me is to take a big risk and then end up with something worse on the next shot. Now that I just do not like.
No.
Yeah.
Well, if I had to pick somebody that played probably the classic time-honored high percentage style of game, it would be Nick Varner. I mean, your shot selection is second to nobody's.
Well,
in fact, that's one of the things I brag on you about all the time. You had a year here a couple of years ago where you won everything in sight. And one of the things that you did that I really admired, I noticed that you were taking about 90% of the push-outs. And I know what your thinking was there because I thought about it and I figured it out. If you don't make it, you might get safe. You might get lucky and ratted in somewhere. It's intimidating to your opponent, right? And it's a good way to start. It builds your own confidence.
Well, one thing I think you hit on the key there is when you do make great shots, I don't care who it is, I think it intimidates them.
Oh, I don't think there's any doubt about it.
I don't think there's anybody that's not intimidated by great play. Well, I guess I just believe in the thinking that God hates a coward. But then a couple guys told me he doesn't think much more of a fool either.
Well.
So anytime you take a risk, you're kind of on the borderline there.
You know, if I didn't know better, you're talking about a coward and a fool, I would suspect that you were referring to our friend, Mr. Cardone, but he's not present in here with us. So.
Yeah, you ought to at least give him a chance to defend himself, Grady.
Oh, he does with great relish.
With no problem, does he?
Yeah.
Okay, so Johnny wins the game, and the score is now 10-3 in favor of Buddy. Tell you what, if Johnny could run 2 or 3 racks here, or at least leave the table with control of the game by playing a safety or something, this match is liable to really tighten up.
Well, if he wants to have any chance to win it, I think he's got to put a 2 or 3 rack package together. He's got to get the break working.
A lot of big comebacks, usually at some point, the guy has done something really good, or otherwise that's when you get beat by lop scores. Now see, the 9 went inside. See, that's a quick game, and that may help him gain some momentum because he's been, every time he comes to the table, he just, in most of the match, he's been looking how to play safe, not how to pocket a ball. And now the score is 10-4.
Yep, you're right now. Breaking a run out here, it's 10-5.
It's big. A break and a run out here is big for Johnny Archer.
Have you got a score on the Mizrak-Strickland match? Can you see that?
It looks like Earl just pocketed the 9, so it looks like he's ahead 11-6.
Okay. All right, Johnny failed to pocket a ball again on the break.
Looks like Buddy might have to play safe this time.
If it doesn't pass the 5, I think he's going to. Now, what safety do you like here, Nick? I like going behind the 7 maybe here.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you there. I think that's a more effective safety. I don't like the safety where you skim the 1 here. I believe he might have been trying to make the ball. I guess he must have had a tight pocket and he's trying to squeeze it in. Right here, the key right here, Grady's this shot right here on speed, coming down for the 1 and the 1-2.
Well, I kind of like the way he did that.
That was like shooting a 9 there, huh?
Sure, because the rest of the balls are pretty easy. But if you look at the way
he's got a float here up between the 3 and 9, 1 rail, doesn't he? No, now see, he went 2 on that shot. It just shows you how much these good players like that 2 rail position.
Well, sure, and again, he's not on the rail or anything. But the way he played the 1 ball coming down into the 8, the speed he hit it with, there's no way he could hit the 8 and not have a shot at the 2. So I kind of like the way he did that.
No, there wasn't much that could go wrong there, except maybe get snookered if he's awful unlucky.
Yeah, that would be an unfortunate.
Which would be awful unfortunate the way that ball was laying. Now, will he come straight up, or do you like playing straight in here, Grady, or do you like drawing back a foot and a half and taking the angle?
I like an angle. I especially don't like this angle that he got here.
I like I don't think he could draw back because I think he had the wrong angle. I think he had to go for the...
Oh, he had to go the other way.
Ooh. Is it going to stop in time?
Yeah, that's a little risky what he did there.
I tell you what, this is not an easy shot right here, Grady.
Well, I play this long with a little right English.
That's one where you really need to stay down on, like Johnny Archer did on that one. A lot of people, they look up a little too soon on that shot.
I tell you what, Nick, Buddy better be careful. Now, he's played perfect pool, but the last 2 games he made a couple of unforced errors.
Well, he's shooting, what, 945 or something like that? And
well, that's gone down.
And all of a sudden, the score's 10-5, and
917 for Buddy and 780 for Archer.
So the numbers are getting a little closer as the score is showing.
Well, one of the things I noticed about the ACCUSTATS percentages and statistics was that they usually pretty accurately predicted what the score was.
Yeah, they usually fall on the money pretty strong.
Now, winning those last couple of games might have inspired Johnny to get in there and break them well. Well, again, he's not made a ball on the break. Now, Buddy's got a good shot here. The 4 ball, which is on the close to the far left-hand side rail, is a little bit of a problem because he's only got a half of a pocket. He's got to get a good angle on that. And the 2 ball is...
I tell you what, he'd like to have something, I think, a little softer. He's got to hit this shot awful hard, don't he, to get back up table? He's a little straight, isn't he? And if he gets on this rail, that 3, he's got to miss the 9 here, Grady.
He's got to miss the 9 and make sure he doesn't go up behind the 4.
I think what I'd do here is just try to get up any place around that side pocket.
Sure, I agree with you.
Just miss this 9, and I would take the shot from over close to the rail on the 3.
I'd put about the littlest amount of right English I could with a high ball and just a nice, slow, medium speed.
You called it. You called it.
Shoot right at it. I didn't like that.
He said he was shooting right at the side.
Well, sure, it's the only place it can go.
Yeah.
Now, he's got to be real careful here. He does not have a full pocket. And when he cuts that 4 ball to his right, it puts left English on the 4. So, of course, they're big pockets, but he won't want to hit this very hard.
Well, you notice where the 4 went in there that he was leaning it toward the rail.
Right, the thick part of the pocket, sir.
He didn't take no chance on running into the 7.
Well, this is perfect here. Just make sure you don't go near the side and stay above the 7, and you really can't do anything wrong with this shot.
I like to come all the way over here.
Sure, right on.
And go down to the end rail on the next shot.
Sure.
Instead of stopping in the middle and trying to hit it with reverse to spin it down. Because I don't like ending up above the 8 here myself. I like to be below it.
Sure. Then you can go long or short according to the exact angle you get.
Yeah, or straight down that one rail. Just hit it short of the side and just float into the 9's the way I like to play it. I like that better than coming across.
Sure. Well, he can just lag this in. He's got
Yeah, he's
a little farther from the 8 than he wanted.
Well, from this angle, he's probably going to come across and just try to hit any place below the side, about the 3rd diamond, or maybe just a little below, and bounce off that 2nd rail, right, float in toward the 9. Just get it off the rails. Always interested here, the 2nd rail.
That's perfect. Now that's a classic position. He's not on the rail. Didn't take any chance of scratching. All right, it's 11 games to 5. Well, for Buddy, I know.
Yeah, look at the new tour logo there, the red, white, and blue, Grady. What do you think of that?
Well, that's a catchy logo. I like that. I like that. Was that designed by Keith McCready?
No, I think that was designed by a company that specializes in that. We're pretty proud of that.
Sure, that's a nice job. Well,
I tell you what, let's see here, 4 to the 5. 5's leaving tricky.
I don't think the 5 goes in either corner.
What do you do here? You play the 5-8, or you play the 5-9? I don't see any way to play position for it except run into them balls, and I don't like that.
No, I don't either.
Not the way these are laying.
Well, he played to go down to the end rail here, passed straight in on the 4, I think.
Tell you what, he might have got a little too thin on this 2. He's going to have to kill this ball, I believe, a little.
I think I would play for the 5-8, Nick. What do you think?
Yeah, because even if you fall a little bit bad, you may elect to play a safety. You know, I wouldn't want to. I don't like going into these. They're just.
Well, let's explain to our viewers why. If he gets the right angle on the 4 and goes 1 rail into those, if he hits the bottom side of the 5, no shot. The high side of the 5, he still doesn't have to have a shot. He could snooker himself. Now, this is not workable at all unless he decides to play the combination.
He's looking to see if the 5 goes in his pocket, but boy, from where we're sitting, it don't look like it's got a ghost of a chance. Now.
Well, to be honest with you, Nick, I hate to say this because I'm sitting up here in the booth and not playing, but the time to look and see if the 5 went was before he played position on the 2 ball.
Yeah. Looks like what he's going to do is bounce off between the 6-7. No, he just slid straight up. This is the type of shot here. It helps when you're about Johnny's age to be fearless on this one, huh?
But this is tough because he's got to draw this ball a little bit to be sure he's got a shot on the 5 ball.
He's almost got to get it, hit it easy to get it for the corner. You know, I don't like the way those balls are laying there, especially. It's all right when you're ahead, but boy, you know those shots are so hard when you're behind. You know, he's trying to finesse that shot. So he controls the 5,
sure,
as well as having to aim good enough to pocket the shot. And
well, he didn't get a nice angle on that. That's another question I get asked a lot at clinics I do and everything. And one of the things I stress about combinations is you need to make a center ball type hit on a cue ball. It makes them a lot easier to make, and the easier you can hit it, the better. That wasn't natural.
You're right.
Now here, I like going to the end rail here. Just a little right in.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah, he'll probably go right below it. And I like coming straight up one rail here. We've been talking about two rail all day. I kind of like one rail here.
Well, he's a little straighter in. He'll probably lengthen it out like this.
I just
like
try to
that.
get to
Sure.
the side on this shot, and anything after that's like a bonus.
Sure.
Because I do not like to get underneath this ball.
No, from above it, especially on pretty easy equipment, there's no problem. All right, it's 12-5.
And Buddy's on the hill. Well, thus far, it's been a tough evening for John.
Well, it's going to be like that sometime. There's Dave Piona's wife. Very nice lady on the monitor.
Yeah, she's a real sweetheart.
Yes, she sure is. Dave's a nice guy, too. Been around
Yeah.
a lot of years.
Yeah, he's
Fine player.
Yes, he is.
There's a picture of Dave right there.
Yeah, there's Dave.
I think he's from San Leandro, if I'm not mistaken, California. Hayward. Well, that's the same difference. San Leandro, Hayward, what's the difference? It's all over there across the bay. Maybe it's a difference to, how do you say it, Haywardians? Haywarders? Haywardians? I don't know.
Scott.
All right, Buddy's going to call for the tournament director.
Too tired to stand up.
He's going to play the billiard here.
Well, in the winner's bracket match with Earl and Mizrak, Earl's on the hill, and ooh, he just missed one, but he's leading Steve 12-8.
Well, there's the same thing we've been talking about, Nick. When you're behind, it's very tough to make finesse shots. I know when I'm behind, I hate to get something that I have to lag the length of the table. And, you know, I'd rather have something I can fire in, at least get rolling with something of that sort.
Yeah, when you're in Johnny's position, the game's awful tough when you got tough shots. It's just, it seems like it's hard to get them in the hole.
You know what I like here, Nick? If he's got an angle where he can, like, push the one over to the rail and send the cue ball beyond the three, that three blocks a pretty big area up the table.
Yeah.
And I think
Well, if you get him close to the end rail, I like it, but the way that Johnny jumps, I don't think you want to leave him. That Johnny jumps balls awful good. Of course, if I ever left him a jump shot, I'd like to do it when I was leading 12-5.
Sure, yeah, no kidding.
I might not be so concerned then, but tell you what, I know one thing. Buddy's gonna, if he can, he's gonna win this game because he knows what can happen in this game. He's trying to bank this ball or play safe.
No, he's playing. I think he's playing my side. No, he banked it.
He's trying to make it.
Well, he didn't go crazy with it. He can just turn everything loose.
Now, what do you do here? I think I'd try to bring the one, just miss the two, and come down toward the middle of the table or the counters here and try to run into the 8.
Well, you can put him behind the 8, but when you're behind, it's tough to.
Well, he's got the 2 too, though.
Well, I think he got him. I don't think Buddy can see a piece of this. And even if he could, there's a natural scratch there in the lower right-hand side pocket.
You know, I think he might be able to see just enough of this to make it. And if he can, he might as well go for it, because what better shot's there?
Well, he'll
No,
go the end rail
he
and take
can't.
it
He
here.
can't see it. He's going to kick.
Now, he'll hit this hard.
Yeah.
Because it's out in the middle of the table. And balls in the middle of the table you can't play finesse kicks on as a rule.
Okay, now Johnny's got a chance here to win a game. Looks like it'll be a shark game. Look like he can play the 1, just slide over, play the 2 in the side a little bit. No, well, that's a little different. He didn't like the side pocket shot, I guess. He wanted to be sure he's shooting at this corner pocket, and I find no fault with that.
Well, if he got exactly straight in, he's not going to be able to get on the 3 in the corner comfortably. No, he's hitting this with a high ball. or just above center ball.
Evidently, this is a little bit thin in the side. I didn't realize he needed to come across. I thought he could just stop.
Well, he's in pretty good shape here. Just lengthen this out. I like just bouncing it off one natural rail here. That's fine.
Just bounce off and get up to the sides. Fine.
Sure.
Close to the rail.
And of course this, you won't want to hit this very hard. You'll hit this easy.
Yeah, and Grady's right. He'll hit it pretty easy. And as Grady knows, it gives you such a much bigger pocket when you hit it that speed.
12 to 6. Well, it didn't take me long to figure out that hitting those hard is a good way to lose your money or the match, you know.
Yeah, after you hit a few where the 9 still ends up on the table.
Yeah, that's not much fun, is it? Now let's see if Johnny can get his break working.
Yeah, he's really got to come with it now. He's got his back against the wall. And he's really got to come with the break here, and I imagine he'll be letting it out.
Well, he broke him well. He got kissed in the side.
Yeah.
And when you're behind, a lot of times that kind of thing happens.
Yeah, not much you can do about it when you get kissed into a pocket. It's one of those feelings. It's not much fun when you hit it and control it. Then something knocks you in the hole.
Now he's got to be careful here. He wants to stay where he can reach it. Of course, he plays well opposite-handed. But I wouldn't want an angle here where I have to come out between the 6 and 9, because that looks like you could get in trouble.
No.
I'd want a little straighter in angle, wouldn't you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you want to pull up above the 9. Right. Is what I'd like to do. In fact, I'd even like to stop so I could come off this one rail, but one thing, you kind of lean toward drawing it far enough here. So
I think you can get above the 9 here. Let's see. Yeah.
Yeah. Tell you what, do you go around the 6 here? This is.
Well, this might seem funny, Nick. I like going between the 6 and 9 here.
Really?
Yeah.
Now that's of all the things we talked about tonight. That's one of the first surprises you give me there.
Well, he's going to come awfully short if he goes 2 rails around the 6, right?
Yeah, I see.
He can't lengthen it out. What do you do with this? He's going to draw it between the 6 and 9, I think, and come back.
Yeah, I like that.
Well, that's high
Hardly
percentage.
anything can go wrong there. But now, where do you go, Grady? Do you swing around 2 rails and try to catch good speed, or do you try to come around and stay close to the 9 so you can just float down for the 7? Which way you go here?
I like 2 rails because I think you can make the 5 the most often that way, don't you?
Uh-huh. You called it on the button.
Well, he hit it very nicely, too. Well, Buddy's got such good speed.
Yeah, he really does.
Now here, the only way you could possibly mess this up is get straight in on the 7. And he's sure not going to do that. This is 2 rails. Ball first, a little high right English. I really like just above center English here, rather than high ball. Like that, very nice.
I don't like to get real high. And as the old saying goes, I'd be happy to play these 2.
Sure.
Oh, he's going over to the rail. I thought he could just stop. But he had to go across and back out. He'd like to get another 6 inches, but...
That's a Buddy Hall trademark. He's a little unhappy he didn't go a few more inches.
Yeah, when Buddy's off 2 inches, he's upset. His speed's so good.
Well, he played a great match. He only made a couple of minor errors, as you suggested earlier, a couple of great kick shots.
1 o'clock. We have a nice hand for John Archer.
Well, Buddy played great, and it looked like to me the story was every time Johnny come to the table, he was facing extremely tough situations early. And and when you're behind like that, Johnny just couldn't quite run that extra rack or 2 or 3, whatever it takes to win. And sometimes you just can't do it. When you quit making balls under breaker, like the last game, he hit a good break. He made balls, and then something kisses him in the side. There's nothing you can do to stop it.
Well, I don't think we'll ask Buddy up here for an interview because he's played all day long. I want to talk briefly about the tapes. They're really a great product, and you have only to call 1-800-828-0397 to order this or any of a number of remarkable pocket billiard products. And Nick Varner, I can't tell you what an extreme honor and a pleasure it is. You're my old friend and probably the best pool mind I've ever been around, and I've really enjoyed working with you.
Well, I appreciate all the compliments, Grady, and in addition to being the best seat in the house right here, it's always a pleasure working with you.
These are good
seats. Because you're just so at home up here, and you really do a great job. And
well, thanks, Nick.
And you make it so easy.
I can't think of anything that's more pleasurable for me. I always learn something when I do one of these commentaries with you. Well, I guess we'll bid everybody good night, and thanks for your patronage and interest in a wonderful sport. And until next time, so long.